Well then, good night to you all. So now I will be making an anime pickup series uh, since during all the weekend and for the next couple 2 weeks I will be at home and I cannot do anything at all because um, I had a little accident, so um, and I cut my wrist. So and since I cannot lift weights and such, well, I guess I will take this time to get another anime pickups, and that's what I did during weekend, the weekend. But that's quite a bother because I do plan it to release this on Sunday, but uh, the medication kinda well has some side effects that were quite annoying. But nonetheless, I now finished watching another Gundam series, and this series was After War Gundam X, and basically this series happens in a different calendar called the After War era, and it has 39 episodes, and it aired in Japan from 5 of April of 1996 to 28th of December of 1996, and it aired in Animax TV Asahi, and the studio that made the animation was Sunrise, and the series was directed by Shinji Takamatsu. This series also has a manga that ran from April of 1996 to March of 1997 with 3 volumes, and it was written by Koichi Tokita and it was published by Kodansha. And then we have 2 other mangas. One is a prequel uh, that basically tells the story of one of the characters of the series called Jamil Nit. During his time, he was a Earth Federation soldier, and the second one was called After War Gundam X Under the Moonlight, uh, and this is the sequel of After War Gundam X anime and manga. And this story happens 7 years after the ending of the series, and it has a new set of characters and such, and has 4 volumes that were published between December of 24 until 26, and they were published in a magazine called Gundam Ace, and were published by Kadokawa, and were rewritten by Shitoshi Ojima and illustrated by Yutaka Akatsu. But now I am talking about the anime series that aired in 1996. And basically, this is a kind of a different Gundam series that because it happens actually after the end of the war between the Earth Federation and a group of space colonies that entered in a rebellion against the Earth Federation, fighting for their independence. And eventually, uh, 15 years prior to the start of the series. That was the time of the war. They basically, the Earth Federation used the Gundam power that is charged up by a microwave, rather, that was in a base on the moon, and it was used by um, Jamil Neat, um, that was a pilot of the Gundam and served the Earth Federation. And basically, he kind of destroyed the colonies. Then the colonies that uh, are menacing the Earth Federation of dropping the colonies into Earth, they actually did it, and more than half of the human population died in the process. And eventually, after during the first 7-8 years, there was kinda no sun. A lot of people died. They died from diseases. Well, it was hell. Let's say on that way. And then we have several countries that began appearing after the disintegration of the Earth Federation and such. And then when the story starts, we have a group of vultures that basically are people that travel around the world to collect pieces of space colonies, ancient or old nuclear power stations, anything that was related with the past. They kind of collect it and they act as kind of salvagers, and also kind of pirates and such. And we have people that is using mobile suits. And basically, the first part of the series happens with a group that is led by Jamil Neat that survived the war, and now at the start of the series is the captain of a vulture ship. That's the name of the groups that pouch in this stuff. And his crew is made from several other characters. For instance, Kid Sal Samil, that is the mechanic, the chief mechanic of the mobile suits that this guy uses. We have Salah Tyrrell, that is the bridge operator of the ship. We also have Shingo Mori, that is the helmsman of the ship. We have Tonya Malme, that she is the bridge operator in charge of communications. And then we have Tex Farzenberg, that is the physician, the doctor of the ship. And we have two hired mobile suit Gundam pilots called Roy Bia Loy and Vitsu, that are basically hired to protect the ship. And then we have the start of the series. There are a boy called Garrod Ran, and he is the main character of the series. And basically he's a 15-year-old boy that is born in the year the war ended, the Seventh Space War ended, and when the all hell break loose on Earth and in space. And he's kind of expert in espionage, and it eventually war introduced to him because a guy kind of hired this guy to rescue a girl called Tifa Adil, that is a new type that basically possess the power of clairvoyance, and that is shown through all the series. And basically this guy Garrett was hired by an old man to rescue her from the Freedom, that is the ship of Jamil Need. Then when this guy Garrod, he actually rescues her, and then he kind of realizes that she is a new type, and that the guy that hired him simply wants to use these girl powers. And he, in the situation, after being pursued by this guy, the old man, he kind of goes to old uh, base, and there he found Gundam X, and he kind of becomes the pilot of the Gundam X, uh, because also during the time he kind of saved Tifa, he also go to the safe of the ship and kind of retrieve the command that basically is the key needed to activate the Gundam. But then eventually he and this girl eventually join with the Freedom crew. Then they go on to adventures on salvaging jobs and searching for new types, because that is the mission of Jamil. He intends to save all new types in the world or protect them. And then we have the appearance of, for me, a pair of villains. They were kind of the best villains I have seen so far on the old Gundam series I did watch, and they are two brothers, the twin brothers. The older one is called Shagia Frost, and the younger one is called Olga Frost. And basically, these guys, well, they are brilliant, and they use all, literally all, the people in the series. These guys use them to achieve their goal, and their goal basically is to destroy the world, because they have special powers, but they kind of fear. Uh, they were this because they could not activate a system called the Flask system that enables the users to control the Gundams, and they do not have new type abilities, and because of that they kind of were experimented by scientists, that then we learn that basically there is a group that is planning to revive the Federation, and eventually they did it. In the middle part of the series the Federation was revived, and these guys basically, until that time when it is revealed that they are working in a way for the new Federation government, but in fact they intended to achieve their own goals. But basically these two guys basically use all the characters that appeared since the beginning of the series to the end of the series. These two guys basically pull the strings on all and trick all. So these two brothers are the epitome of villains in the universe of Gundam. Uh, and then we have several characters that will appear through all the series. We learn the story of the war, what happened, what are new types, a lot of adventures, and eventually this series ends with um, a great final battle in space. And when they learn the truth about what are new types. But great part of the series happens in the planet Earth. They go, the ship, the Freedom, goes from region to region, traveling in search of new types. They confront several times these guys, these two brothers. They also dispose guys that these two brothers think that they should be disposed. Um, but the series is fantastic. The characters, yes, we have the new type situation with this character Tifa Adil, and but basically I like this series because it's different. It happens in a world after the war. It focuses on how the humans did survive the horrors of the war and the horrors of the space colonies being crushed into Earth, how they survive, how the small country is born. Um, we have a lot of mobile suits in this series, and basically a great part of mobile suits pilots at the start of the series, they do not work as an army. They are used by independent people, by groups, by pirates, by vultures, by that's different. This is different than the usually situation in the Gundam universe, where we have opposing forces, opposing groups. That does not happens in the series until in the middle end of the series. We see the factions, the new Federation, the New Earth Federation, and the space colonies that all think that they were destroyed, but in the end they were not, and they still exist. Um, we have a lot of interesting characters, and one thing that I like about this is that basically this guy Garrod Ran, that is the pilot of the Gundam X, and then kind of becomes the pilot of the Double X Gundam. He's a normal guy. He does not have any special power. He simply has a strong belief in protecting this girl, Tifa, and in fighting for what is correct. And basically, he fights all the series, during all the series, against the prophecies of this girl to prevent their from happen. And through this process, he kind of becomes the way to change the future. And that's very interesting because it's a guy, yes, he's a smart guy, he kind of possesses some knowledges of espionage and such, but he is a very scale, he eventually became a very high scale Gundam pilot, but he is a normal guy with normal aspirations, with a normal life, trying to survive in a world that was destroyed by war. And all in the series, in a way, is similar to the Gundam universe, but at the same time is different. And like I did say, the pair of villains that appeared in this series, the two brothers, the two Frost brothers, they were simply amazing, of the most amazing villains I ever see in the Gundam series, either in the UC chronology or in the Cosmic Era chronology. It's a shame that they did not make any new series based on this uh, chronology, but it's very interesting because this series has a beginning, a middle part, and an ending. So this series actually has an ending. We see what happened to all the characters at the end of the series. It's a much more series that is focus is the human relations, how human relations work built. We see several problems that appeared in this series that are problems of the average person, uh, and do not fall into the category of a nation, a federation, a group, an empire, or such. Uh, and the series is different and is very good. The animation, it kind of brings back for me good memories of the anime series of the end of the 19th and the transition for the 2000s, because this series, the start of the series is clearly 19th animation, and in the last episodes of the series we actually see some stuff that kinda is a hint to the transition for the kind of animation that they will be doing in the 2000s years at the start. So this series is very good. I liked a lot to watch it. I know that this series never. I think that this series never have dubbed version. I don't know if this series actually aired besides in other country besides Japan. I don't know. I know that the site where I watched the series, the subs were, I think they were made by fans, but the series for me it was a very good series of the Gundam universe. I liked it a lot. I highly recommend you watch it. Have your and take your own conclusions after watching it, and you will see that this is different. Even if at the end is kinda similar to the other Gundam series in the Gundam universe, this series actually is a little different in great part of the series. And it's very interesting by that. The main character, Garrod Ran, is a very interesting character. As well, all the crew members of the Freedom, they are all very interesting, and even the ones that join the Freedom later on, like Enil, like what is the name of the girl? Um, Paula Sis. We have also a very interesting character called Caris Nautilus, and the series is very good. Honestly, this series is very good, and I highly recommend that you watch it, because if you are a fan of the Gundam series, probably you already watch it, but if you not watch it, I highly recommend that you watch it because it's worthwhile, and it was a very very good series for me in the Gundam universe that happens in the after war era. So that's it. This is my final impressions and thoughts on the series called After War Gundam X. So hope you enjoy the video. Stay well. Peace. See you soon.